All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for a tier list. We are all up to date on the current patch notes for retail PvP. We got some big changes coming in. If you guys missed the changes, make sure you check them out here. But let me just open up a tier list generator really quick. Tier list maker with all the dragonflight specializations. So if you guys want to know what is going to be OP, ladies and gentlemen, I've got you covered. So where can I reset this? Okay, we're gonna reset this really quick. Okay, we got all the specs here. I need to, as always, add a row above. Okay, this one's gonna be called new, and we're gonna name it S plus Omega Shenron. All right, cool. We got S plus Omega Shenron. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Now, before we start this, I think it's worth noting that there's actually been a pretty good amount of balance changes. Like at this point, I feel like most specs are viable. There's very few specs in the game that I think just have no comps that they can play and they're just garbage all around. Truthfully, like I think at least, I think most, I can't think really of many specs that don't have at least one or two good comps. So I think that's good. So as always, we're going to put tanks where they belong in D tier. Nobody likes tanks. And that's just the way it is. I'm sorry. All right. So all the tank specs will go down here, including Brewmaster, all 6 tank specs. Now, we will go through healer balance. So I'm going to go through healers, okay? First and foremost. Now, Resto Druids were up here at S plus Omega Shenron. I think they were clearly the best healer. I really think that. Like overall, I think they were the best healer. You know, they could still lose. It's not like they couldn't lose, but they're very, very strong. Now I think with the nerfs that they're getting to their mastery and the nerfs that they're getting to the nerfs they're getting to their mastery and the nerfs that they're getting to their tier, I think I'm gonna put them down at A tier, guys. I think we're gonna put them at A tier. Like I don't think they're gonna be bad. Are they S tier still? Like, maybe they are. I don't even know. What is S tier? Like, when I'm thinking about the healers, is there an S tier healer? And if there's not an S tier healer, maybe that's fine. A is too much? Nah, they're good. So let's just go through the healers. So Axton says he still thinks Resto Druid will be S tier. And you know what? Axton is a lot smarter than me when it comes to Druid. So I'm gonna put Resto Druid at S tier. I'm gonna be a bit controversial here and go with Axton and put the Resto Druid at S tier. I think what's gonna end up happening with Resto Druid, to be honest with you, is I have a few predictions. Okay, my first prediction is the mastery nerf is big, but I think that people don't have optimized gear right now and they are missing out on some mastery haste. So I think once people have fully crafted, fully optimized gear and they're maxed out on mastery and haste, and I think a lot of people are going to end up playing germination instead of tree form, I think their healing and throughput is still going to be really, really high. So I anticipate druids are still going to be good. Yeah, we'll leave them at S tier. Discipline priest, I think A tier. I think discipline priest overall is pretty well rounded. I think there's an argument you could make that it's also closer. It's like A plus, I think, overall. Preservation Evoker, I'm going to put it at B tier. I don't think it's bad. The only problem with Preservation Evoker right now is its a lack of damage mitigation. So it's like a throughput healer. But because you're a throughput healer and damage is so high and constant, like it feels like sometimes you run out of healing. You can't deal with like certain burst situations. And the big difference, though, between Resto Druid and Preservation Evoker is Preservation Evoker has to actually be in the middle of the fight. So it's like you're a throughput healer, but you have to be in, like, you know, you have to be in close range, which can be tough to balance. So I'm going to put Preservation Evoker for now at B tier. Perhaps when more people get Force Set, it'll be a little bit better. Mistweaver Monks, I think we're at a solid A tier. Overall, like I do think Mistweavers are more powerful than Preservation Evokers. We just had the legendary Meat Monk this weekend win the Solo Shuffle tournament on Mistweaver Monk. So I feel like I'm gonna put it up here at A. Although it is getting significant nerfs, so this is subject to change. Dresor QT as well. Thank you very, very much. I'll put this here. Dresor QT as well. Thank you very much for the sub. Mistweaver Monk, we're going to put it at A tier. It's getting some significant nerfs, but I think the nerfs are going to affect Punch Monk a lot more than like the Caster Monk version. So I feel like Mistweaver Monk, maybe B. I'm going to put it at A. I'm going to be generous here for now. I think they're God tier and like RBGs. So overall, I think they're like a pretty solid healer. But, you know, maybe I'm totally off on that one. Holy Priest? What are we thinking for Holy Priest? Holy Priest is getting some buffs, right? Maybe it's a B tier healer now. I think B is fine. What about, we got some good priests in my stream. I just want a little bit of reinforcements. Do we feel comfortable with B tier, Nick? Or like, what are we thinking? Healers, I'm honestly, could be A with Forset, unsure. Okay, well, if you think it could be A, I'm gonna for sure leave it at least B for now. With subjectivity to change, of course. The last healer we have here, we got two healers. We got Resto Shaman. So I actually already think Resto Shamans are A. I think Resto Shamans are already good. Like, I think they have some really solid comps. I don't think they're bad. Every Shaman main will gaslight you and tell you they suck, but I don't know. I don't think they're bad. And they're getting buffed. Their tier is getting buffed. Their Riptide's going to heal for even more, so they're going to have a little bit more throughput healing. But I think Resto Shamans are not bad. I'm going to put them at A tier. Okay, cool. So A tier if you're a good Resto Shaman, I would say. I think it can be rough and shuffle, but yeah, we'll see. You know, slowly but surely, Resto Shaman's getting buffs. Resto Druid's getting nerfs. Could end up going in their favor. And then, of course, Holy Paladins. I don't feel comfortable putting them at C. I think Holy Paladins are actually decent. You think B tier is fine for Holy Paladin? I kind of feel like it is. They're getting some damage buffs, I think. The patch notes said they're getting some damage buffs, so maybe a little bit of help to their offensive capabilities. Their mana is a lot better than it used to be, so I think they have their own little niche right now. And yeah, I feel very comfortable putting them at B. So in terms of healer balance, it's not too bad. I don't think any of the healing specs are like complete trash. I think they all probably have some good compositions, but I think overall Resto Druids are still going to be the king. But they have been demoted from S+ Omega Shenron to just a S. Now, here is where we get to have fun. There's a lot of DPS specs in the game, ladies and gentlemen, and we are going to start motoring through them. So I feel like, what's a good way to do this? Frosty Ks. So Frosty Ks, I think, are one of those specs that are very niche, right? So I get in trouble sometimes by the community because I rate Frosty Ks higher than, you know, maybe a lot of you would, but I think Frosty Ks, they have their niche, and in the situations where their niche is good, they're very strong. So I, at the very least, am going to put, because they're such a niche specialization, I am going to put them at B tier. You know, I think I've improved them from C tier. They got some solid buffs. I'm putting them at B tier. Still think compositions like Frosty K, Devastation Evoker are pretty good. I've seen Smexen play the Frosty K with like a Ret Paladin and not too bad. I think Frosty Ks are on the rise. Still not the best. Their big brother Unholy, who I would put at A tier, is definitely a little bit better. It's getting a little nerfs, not too much. Well, it's getting some buffs and then some nerfs in some ways. So I think Unholy is probably still going to be a solid A tier. For me, Havoc Demon Hunter, it's getting nerfs too. I'm actually going to demote Havoc Demon Hunter from S tier to A tier. This might be a controversial one for me, but I think with the nerfs that we're seeing for Havoc Demon Hunter, I'm actually going to bring it down from S tier to A tier. I think it's still going to be very good specialization, but I'm going to take it down a little bit. Okay? Just a little bit. Okay. Boomkin, I think I'm going to bring Boomy up to S tier. When you think about the specs, God, I don't know, man. It's so hard. Yeah, I think I'm going to put Boomy at S tier. I think there's a lot of A tier specs right now. I know you guys are going to be like, you guys have way too many A tier, but I just feel like maybe we need like an A+, but Demon Hunter's pre-nerf was S+ Omega Shenron. Now they're only S. No way Boomy's S tier in Solo Shuffle. Well, I'm saying S tier overall. And I think Boomkins are S tier in Solo Shuffle. Look at what Nick did. I'm not saying it's not hard to do what Nick did, but I mean, if you have a Boomkin making it to the finals with the best players in the entire game, I think it's hard to argue that it's not good. You know? So, yeah, I'm going to put Boomies at S. I feel comfortable with that. Feral Druids, I'm going to leave them at A tier. I think overall they're a solid melee. They get good crowd control. They have some really good comps. They got good burst damage. They're not too bad. You have to be good at like surviving on a Feral Druid. That's probably the hardest thing about it. But yeah, I'm going to put it at A tier. Devastation Evoker was D tier. Then it was C tier. Then it was B tier. I don't feel comfortable putting Devastation Evoker at A tier yet. But if there was a B plus category, I think I'm going to put Devastation Evoker there. So Devastation Evoker, getting some overall damage buffs again. It's also getting some defense buffs with its talents. I think they're going to be strong. I think they're already strong, and they're getting even more buffs. So Devastation Evoker, I think, is devastating and quite strong right now. Next up, we have BM Hunter, which I'm going to throw up at S tier. I think BM Hunter is it's something. I feel very confident putting it at S tier, all things considered. And remember, for this tier list, friends, this is like me thinking about all aspects of the game. It's not just solo shuffle. It's not just 2s or 3s or RPGs. It's kind of just everything in the spec as a whole. So I'm going to put BM Hunter at S tier. Survival Hunter, I think, is also very strong right now, but I'm going to put it down on the A tier row with Unholy Decay, Havoc Demon Hunters, Ferals. And keep in mind, A is good. Like, A is good. Okay? So, like, to me, an A is like a 9 out of 10 for a spec. It's good. Like, it's good. S is like a 9.5 out of 10. Marks Hunter with its survival buffs. I'm also going to put it at A tier. Feeling confident about that decision. Arcane Mage, definitely. I'm going to put Arcane Mage at A tier. I think. What do you guys think? I feel like sometimes you guys think I'm biased about Mage, so I want to do like a confirmation with you guys in the stream. You guys think that Arcane is S tier or A tier? I think pre-4 set nerf is a guaranteed S tier. But with the 4 set nerf, I think A. What do you guys think? I think A. I think A. Okay, we're putting it A. Fire, have we seen any fire mages? I need to double check something. Let me go to my trusty dusty website, Drustvar, and take a look at the leaderboards. So we're going to look at Arena 3v3. And we're going to look at Fire Mage. So the highest rated Fire Mage is 2100. And he's spec rank 118. In Europe, though, they're 179 Fire Mage. Jesus. Solo Shuffle, let's just look at the mage specs overall. There's a lot of Fire Mages that are doing pretty good in Solo Shuffle. So yeah, Fire is not too bad. I think Fire's like, it's really, I think with a Rogue, it's good. I think with a Rogue, it's good in 3s, but outside of that, I feel like Fire's pretty weak, to be honest with you. I don't know. My gut feeling is that it's like B tier, but it like very strong with a Rogue, but kind of like overall B tier. I guess I could put it at A tier. I'll put it at I don't know. See, I feel very conflicted about the mage specs. Because I feel like in Solo Shuffle, all the mage specs are kind of decent. In 3s, you know, they've got some comps. Like, what do you guys think about Frost? Do you think that Frost is better than Fire? Frost is broken S tier? Arcane and Frost are A and Fire is B. I think I could get with that. I could do that. So, well, okay, so we're going to put Arcane and Frost at A tier, and we'll put Fire at B tier, with the caveat that Fire and RMP is very strong. Okay? That's what we're going to do. I think this is fair. And we can come back and change this, but I am getting a lot of feedback from my chat right now and people that don't actually play Mage that this is kind of where we're feeling, and I could agree with this, okay? Now, here's an interesting one, is Windwalker Monk. Windwalker Monk, I would say was S or was A tier. And it just got buffs. It got some big damage buffs. Is it enough to put it at S tier, or are we thinking like a high A tier, or what? Is Windwalker Monk going to be better overall than Unholy and Havoc Demon Hunter and Feral? I don't think so. I think it's a high A. We'll put it at the pinnacle of A tier for now. I don't think it's going to be better than those specs. Arms Warrior, what do we guys thinking for Arms Warrior? My knee-jerk reaction is that Arms is like A tier. You think it's S? Arms is S tier? Omega S, not S? No way, it's A. What would it be, Numero? You think it's S? S. A lot of you guys are saying S for Arms Warrior. I'm going to put it at A. I'm going to put it at A. Rep Paladin. Ooh, Rep Paladin is a weird one. I'm going to be honest, man. I kind of feel for the Rep Paladin community right now, because I do feel like a lot of Rep Paladin's strength came from their Season 2 set bonus. I think their Season 2 set bonus was absolutely insane. And losing that was a big nerf. So I'm actually going to do a service to Rep Paladin. I do think that they have some comps that are good, but I think overall S tier. Yeah, they're OP as usual. No, I'm joking. I'm gonna put them at low A. I'm gonna put Rep Paladin at low A right now. All right, I was just kidding. But yeah, I do think Rep Paladin overall, like, listen, man, if you're gonna put Devastation Evokers and Frosty K's at B, there's no way that Red is down there. There's no way. Absolutely no shot. So we're putting Ret there. Shadow Priest, I think, is easy A tier. What do you guys think? I think Shadow Priest is an easy A. Yeah, I think Shadow Priests are good. Correct me if I'm wrong. I wouldn't say B. I don't know how you could say B. Let's take a look. Okay, so if we look at Solo Shuffle stats, this is US. Let's look at 2400 plus. 2400 plus is not great. I don't know. It's hard to say. I guess it's down there with Fire Mage. But in Europe, what's going on with the Shadow Priest? Down there. It's down there, man, with the Arcane Mages. Shadow Priest is just nowhere to even be found. You know what? Am I really putting Shadow Priest at B tier? Maybe I am. Shit, bro. Let's look at ladder stats for 3v3. Last 14 days, top 1,000. Not too bad. I mean, it's got equal with BM Hunters and threes. It's up there, like... Shadow Priest is A tier, guys. Shadow Priest is A tier. Sorry to tell you. The numbers don't lie. All right, Mutilate Rogue. Assassination. Assa Rogue right now is the most played spec in threes in Europe. And in the US, it's Subtlety. So I think Assa Rogue is probably... We think it's S? All right, sure. I'm down for that. I actually think all three specs of Rogue are S tier, except Assassination is S plus Omega Shenron. What are our thoughts on this? I think that this is fair. Yeah. Someone said this is the biggest cap list. I don't know what's going on. Wait, why? How's this a cap list? Anyways, Ellie Shaman with 4 set, I think it's A tier as well. I think Ellie Shaman's pretty good. Enhancement Shaman. My gut feeling is that Enhancement Shaman's at like B tier. Like high B tier. Thoughts? Ellie's S tier? Wow, you guys are all saying that Ellie is S tier? I kind of watched it get farmed in the tournament. Let's see here. Okay, this is last 14 days, 3v3. Let's do last 7 days. So Ellie Shaman's pretty good. EU, Ellie Shaman. Okay. Maybe it is, man. Maybe Ellie Shaman's up there. Okay. Okay, Ellie Shaman, S tier. Let's go. All right, we're putting it up there. Affliction Warlock. I don't know, man. I still feel like Affliction Warlock is beans. Like, you think A? I think B, honestly. I think Affliction Warlock's still like B. I think it's like, I don't think it's that good, man. Like B plus maybe. I think Demo and Destro are way better. I'm gonna be honest. I think Demo and Destro are both S tier. I think Destro's like almost up here with the 4-set change. Call me cap, but I think Destro is gonna be. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that Destro is gonna be S plus Omega Shenron with their 4-set buff. I'm not gonna lie. You don't think Ellie is S plus? Is it? It could be. Rezus. I don't think so, though. I think it's really, really good. It could be S plus, I guess. It is getting some nerfs, though, right? Its 4-set is getting nerfed, so I think S is. I'm on board with S. Main Lock and Specs are Demo, S plus, and Soul Shovel. Destro's A plus. Yeah, but Destro's getting buffed, man. The 4-set buff is absolutely crazy. Like, I don't really know where to put Destro. I'm gonna put Destro at S plus. I'm gonna put Ellie, Demo. I'm gonna put these specs over here. Stupid tier list. Okay, and last but not least, guys, we have been gassing up Fury Warriors. This is for Mud. If Mud is watching this tier list, he always comes into my stream and is like, why do you put Fury so high? Why do you put Fury so high? I'm gonna do it again. I think Fury Warrior is gonna be up there with Arms Warrior. And I think it might even surpass it and go S tier. I feel I'm not going to do that just yet, but in my next tier list, I predict that we'll have Fury Warrior up there with S tier. I think Fury Warrior is getting a significant amount of buffs, and the 4-set is absolutely wild. I think you guys are going to be surprised at how bad Fury Warrior shits on you. Once everyone has their 4-set, and with these buffs that come in on Tuesday, I think you guys are going to be blown away. Especially if you're like a Shadow Priest or a Moonkin or a Warlock, you're gonna get deleted. Right now, I wanna, you know what? I want to have my tier list peer reviewed. Okay, I think it is important that we peer review the tier list. So I'm gonna open up the floor right now, guys. Since this is gonna be on YouTube, I'm gonna open up the floor to you guys to speak your mind about the tier list. Is there anything that you think I messed up, or it should be different? Or do you think it's pretty good? We'll peer review the tier list. No AUG, Affliction C tier. Unholy Decay needs to be higher. Okay. Demo's S plus. Demo's getting a lot of nerfs though. Like that's my reasoning. Like Demo's getting a lot of nerfs. Sub isn't high enough. Fair. You think Dev should be higher? I'll believe it when I see it. I haven't really seen... Holy Paladin feels like A to me. I think that that's fair. Isn't sub getting nerfed? Lol. Nerfs. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I mean, I just watched Calvish in the Solo Shuffle tournament. Literally, he's never lost a single lobby. It's literally making some of the best players in the history of the game look like total noobs. I give you shit a lot, but I swear this time I think you're Frost bias. It's so good. Frost Mage? Wait a minute. You think I'm biased towards Frost Mage and it's better? You think Frost Mage should be S tier? I mean... Hmm. The last 7 days in the top 5. Let's look at the top 500. I'm not seeing the data to suggest it. What are your thoughts on Windwalker buffs? I think that Windwalker monks already do a crazy amount of damage. I don't like. So this is my thoughts on the Windwalker buffs. As just like a final note, my thoughts on the Windwalker buffs are Windwalker monks, when they can connect to something, already do an absurd amount of damage. I don't know if it's like, it's obviously going to help a little bit, but I think it's going to help in the wrong way. Like, I think what's going to happen is it doesn't change your bad matchups, and it just makes your good matchups even dumber. Yeah. That's what I think. I think Windwalker Monk is still going to have a lot of really frustrating, annoying matchups, but the stuff you're good into, you're just going to be even better into. If I'm wrong about any of these predictions, I will be the first to admit it, okay? We will revisit this tier list in 1 week, and we'll have another discussion, and I will do it again, okay? So I'll do updated, revised. This is my prediction, and if I'm wrong, I'll be the first to admit it, okay? An augmentation of Okra I'd put at A tier. Although I don't really see Aug that often, but I'm still going to put it at A tier.